Oh man, I'm so excited to come film content. It's the season finale. Let's get it. Come out. It's fine. Dude, I'm ready to... What's going on, man?
I don't want to do this.
It's the season finale. Come on, man.
But it's E3. Look, E3 is just dead, man. Like, we're all going for E3 nowadays, right? And the show's been canceled so many times back and forth, and there's just nothing to talk about.
Would it help you to kind of talk about the memories you've had with E3? Kind of talk about how it made you feel? Maybe do your part to help bring it back to its former glory?
You mean I gotta actually do good? That's too much. It's too much effort. You know, let it just die. Like, Summer Game Fest is already a big thing, and all these companies, all they do is just do their own showcases and directs online anyways.
That's fair. There are going to be, you know, it's kind of, there are a few things that are kind of splitting up, but I mean, there's only one E3.
Yeah, I guess you have a point. I mean, I did really like E3 the one time I did actually physically attend. So, although, if I'm going to do this, I don't want it to just be a montage of, like, footage and stuff. I want to make, like, a whole new series. I don't know. What would we call it?
I'm not sure.
What's that bit that Family Guy does all the time when they do, like, cutaways? They always say something. What is it?
Remember the time.
Yeah, remember the time. Wait, that's it. We could call it that. Just remember the time. And we could do just a whole, like, retrospective, I guess, on E3. Damn it. This means I have to get up, don't I?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Micah, and I don't want to. Micah.
You gotta.
I don't. Well, here we are. E3. Welcome to the Season 1 finale of the Crash Box. We've done a lot on this show. We've talked a lot about mac and cheese. We explored the multiverse. We divulged into rants, conversations, and taste tests all about fast food. We've slayed some zombies. We found mystical artifacts. We went out and explored the city life and went downtown. We had multiple friends and guests come and go and present segments and jokes and bits and just show up for shenanigans. And it's kind of funny because how ironic that for the final episode of Season 1, we're not opening up a physical box per se, but rather a metaphorical box. A box that's of the mind. A box of memories. And, well, truth be told, I've been depressed. I've been really depressed about a lot of things. And some of those things include thinking about memories that are long gone and long forgotten. Or thinking about stuff from my past that, you know, maybe I could have done better. Maybe I could have done worse. People I could have met sooner. People I wish I didn't meet. We all have those, right? But isn't that kind of the stroke of luck that you have to gamble on when it comes to the game of life? Not the board game, but the actual thing of life. And if I'm being honest, in between all this, who knew that I'd meet the love of my life? And who knew that it wouldn't even be someone that's considered human? And at the time of this recording, she's still out there, pursuing her goals, chasing her dreams, indulging in her freedom, getting her closure, and hopefully capturing that son of a bitch. But that's not here nor there. Kind of funny how the theme of closure and the past will always rear its ugly head, no matter what day or time you move forward, backwards, or in between. So, in an effort to get myself out of this depressive episode, in between her being on her mission, in between my friends being constantly busy, you know, with their new adventures and their lives, in between trying to, you know, do something and distract myself from the craziness. And honestly, just a break from everything. Here I am making the finale. I had originally planned for this whole episode to be this one big, super spectacular, just, oh my god, season finale, you know, bunker buster of just epic proportions, right? But as I got around to filming and editing and scripting and voice acting and, you know, music production and all these things, I kind of realized that for all the crazy things we've done throughout the first season of Crashbox, including nearly dodging Discovery, Warner Brothers Media's copyright because I'm using the word Crashbox. I know, that's a joke I'll make for another day. Truth is, remembering the past can be kind of bittersweet. So, for the finale, we're gonna open up a memory box instead of a physical box. You know, minus the ones you probably see back there. You know, trust me, those are for future things. So, I want to present to all of you a concept. that I came up with. Sometimes remembering things and archiving the untold stories of people's past and things that either they've just never publicly shared or things that they've grown fond of, that they've told countless times, that they just would love to repeat again. Documenting those memories, documenting those stories, documenting even just a small glimpse into people's worlds, people's lives, people's universes is something that all of us, human, hybrid, alien, or anything in between, can relate to. So, I want to present to you this concept. I wanted to make a brand new segment for the finale, at the very least. A brand new series, if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a very simple concept. Remember the time.
Remember the time.
Remember the time?
Remember the time.
Hey, remember the time?
Remember the time?
Remember the time?
Hey, remember the time?
Remember the time?
Hey, remember
Hi,
the time?
remember
that there time?
Do you recall the occasion?
Remember that time.
So, it all began with my love of gaming, dating all the way even back past 2011. One of the first E3 related things I ever got to actually partake in was the live event happening on PlayStation Home. It was fun. I got a lot of virtual goodies. I got a lot of extra content, DLCs, themes, you name it. And since then, I've been following PlayStation and E3 from 2011 all the way to 2017. And one very fateful day, PlayStation decided to do a live event for E3 2017. It wasn't this exact one, but it was a very similar one. So what wound up happening is they had a contest where you could get entered into a raffle for a chance to win a ticket to E3. And as you can see on screen, well, I got really lucky. I wound up getting the email really, really early in the morning too, which helped out for me a lot because I had found out that at the time, tickets for E3 were not only going public for the first time that year in years, but they costed $250. So, yeah, winning a ticket from PlayStation directly was awesome. So, I saved up some money from work. I booked a hotel. I couldn't believe I got the email from PlayStation directly with a code to redeem on E3's website. And they just said, yeah, Merry Christmas. Pack your bags and pack your stuff because you're going to E3 2017. So I broke the news officially on Facebook. And as you can see, there were a lot of reactions down below. And a lot of people were really excited for me to be able to finally achieve one of my childhood dreams, going to E3. So, what happened? Well, I made a hashtag for the giggles called hashtag E317 Thoughts of John. You know, back before I was Crash. And I had booked my hotel, got my travel ready, and I was ready to go. So I was hyping my friends up for it for a while, including one particular friend who was very curious about the God of War news at the time.
Wait, aren't you going to E3? Because if you are, and you find any God of War stuff, send me pictures.
I am. Hence why my entire being is not ready. And I'll take as many pics as I'm allowed to.
I need all of the God of War news. But, no pressure, you know?
Got it. All the pressure. Now, the other thing that happened too around the same time was this. Every year since, I want to say about 2015, even 14, PlayStation had what they called a live in theater E3 experience. Essentially, you could get free tickets to local movie theaters to experience all of E3 and everything Sony had to offer live in theaters. It was a big fan favorite cultural phenomenon. And I had gone for multiple years in a row, stating all the way back to about, I think, 2015-16. But I had also gotten tickets for that event too. So, was I able to attend both the live theater event in Phoenix and E3 itself? The answer was yes. I was able to. And this is old photos of when I actually attended the event itself back then. And was able to actually go and attend that right before attending E3 itself as well too. It was phenomenal. Now, keep in mind, back then, when I lived in my original timeline, I lived in Arizona. So, when I lived there, I basically just paid for a Greyhound ticket and did that and took it all the way to California. So, I got the time approved off of work. And on top of that, what you're seeing here were some of the old travel photos that I took, you know, from Phoenix to California. But man, the whole experience was super fun. I had to go literally to the Greyhound station right after the live in theater experience in Arizona. But it was a very memorable experience. One of the first times I ever traveled by myself as well too, just to get out of the state. So I've traveled before, but that was always with family. We stopped at a Mexican place, which was okay at the time. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. So, we had a few interesting truck stops along the way, as you can see from these old photos, too. But, yeah, the ticket itself was only for the ticket. So, I had to pay for my own travel and my own hotel. Now, the E3 ticket did allow me to also do some fun, interesting, behind-the-scenes, closed-door access stuff, courtesy of PlayStation. They were kind enough to bump up my E3 ticket to a Expo Pro ticket, meaning that I had access to a few things most people didn't as well too. Sorry for some of the blurriness, by the way. These are old photos. But man, despite the traveling and despite the craziness, it really was a fun, memorable experience. And when I finally arrived to my hotel at the JW Marriott in Santa Monica, man, it was an expensive hotel for that weekend, but it was worth the quality and worth the fun. And it was definitely worth the location too. Especially because they actually had a shuttle there that I could take there directly from the hotel for free directly to E3. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. So the weather was perfect, the ride was smooth. LA traffic with the shuttle wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. You know how LA traffic is. And I just stopped to enjoy the sights. I got to see all sorts of cool banners and posters plastered all over downtown LA for like games that were coming out at the time or games that were announced, including Shadow of War, which is still a game I really should play one of these days. I heard nothing but fantastic things. And it was cool seeing that. It was cool seeing God of War, you know, plastered right there. I even made it a post about it. And of course, I had to honor Kimmy's wishes, aka Farrell's wishes, and post all the God of War stuff as much as possible. It literally was plastered absolutely everywhere near the convention center. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. It all started here. E3. I still was in shock that I was able to even attend that year. They also showed off some other banners for games too, including one game we'll talk about later on that I never really got a chance to play that shut down, and another game that was actually pretty good. I liked this one. This one was fun, and I did wind up playing it with friends quite a bit, and You know, I like the Marvel's Capcom stuff. You know, that one I didn't play as much, but I took the photo because it was cool. But yeah, when I got there, my goodness, it was covered in content, covered in fun, and covered in excitement from head to toe outside. In fact, you could have just a whole event outside, and you'd have absolutely a ton of fun. I checked out some of the cosplays, checked out some of the exhibitors outside, just stood in awe at some of the buildings and the architecture. And of course, I checked out some of the places that I'd never been to before, right there in the heart of, well, downtown LA. Plus, on top of that, it was just an experience to kind of take everything in, to realize I was finally there. So, what you're seeing are some of the photos of the places that had, like, the Coliseum and some of the events and the outdoor stuff, including the T-Mobile arena, where basically they held Street Fighter, Tekken, Marvel vs. Capcom, all sorts of different fighting tournaments. It was fun to sit down and just watch with a huge crowd as all these people were fighting and cheering and booing and eating some good food. It was just a great time. And, you know, people getting into the convention and stuff as well, too. It truly was a lot of fun, and the fights were actually pretty entertaining, not gonna lie. I mean, for real, seriously, they really, really were. I was not expecting as many fights as we saw. I even wound up making a post about it, too, of one of the KOs. It was pretty entertaining, to say the least. There was also a really delicious, super cool custom food truck to promote Far Cry Primal at the time. They teamed up with a food truck called Meat Wagon, and they had really delicious, fully smoked bison burgers that I got to try. And I managed to get my meal for free as a nice perk because I had some Ubisoft points that I was able to spend towards a free meal. And on top of that, another kind person gave me a voucher to get a meal for free too. So I tried the sheep herders hors d'oeuvres and they were good, but man, the burger was so good. What you're seeing is some concept art and some stuff of the food truck itself as well too that I managed to pull from Reddit. So thanks for the extra coverage, you guys. Behold, the one video I actually did take while I was at E3. Someone made a really cool customizable Horizon Zero Dawn animatronic that was a full like cosplay too. That was super cool. Check it out. Oh my gosh, one of them there robo dinosaurs. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Woo! Tail whip. Super effective. Oh, hello. Aw. Watch out for the tail. Woo! I did also wind up buying some PlayStation swag. You know, I kind of had to, considering the fact that PlayStation paid for my ticket to E3, so I did wind up getting some pins and a few other things for myself while I was there. The line was really long, though, not gonna lie. Now, one of the coolest things that I did, and one of the first things I did, was check out the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Back when this game was still coming out, they had demos set up for people to play a bunch of the levels from the 3 games, check out the remaster, get some amazing pins and swag, and even take a photo with the Bandicoot himself. But the cream of the crop was the fact that I got to go to the Norvo Center to sit down with Naughty Dog with an in-depth conversation and listen to them talk about their memories with Crash Bandicoot, their thoughts on the Insane Trilogy, and, well, just be able to check out all their thoughts and opinions on Crash Bandicoot over the years. It was a fun trip down memory lane while also seeing what's new for the Bandicoot And who knew that there would be so many more fun things coming out for the Bandicoot for years to come. Oh, and of course, I gotta give a special little woo to, the Bandicoot himself. One of the other fun things I got to do was I got to sit down and enjoy an exclusive behind-the-scenes closed-door preview of Detroit Become Human. I actually really love the games like Heavy Rain and, Beyond Two Souls. And not only do I get to check out this exclusive closed-door access event, exclusive to E3, but I got to take a selfie and meet the man himself, David Cage. The guy that made the games and directed them. So, he's a really big fan of sci-fi. And despite what you think on the internet nowadays, a lot of the games to this day are absolutely memorable, absolutely fun. I still really love all three of those games. And I love everything that Quantum Dream does. It was truly a fun, amazing experience to meet the guy, check out some behind the scenes, and just sit down and see his thoughts on the process of making this game. It was a really cool experience. Thanks to PlayStation for letting me do it, too. But yeah, overall, the first day of E3 was an absolute blast. I got to see a lot of really cool mascots and cosplays. I got to interact with so many people that were having so much fun checking out all the different studios and vendors and costumes, and just having a blast from grabbing free swag to networking and interacting with all these big major studios and companies and brands. It felt like, for the first time ever, that real magic of E3 that was there back then between the gamers and the community was truly there. And I checked out a few more sneak peeks too, including, at the time, a very long-awaited sequel, Destiny 2. Yes, as you see, these are some footages from one of the strikes you could play early on in the game. And I got to sit down and play a little bit of it. Not much, but just a little bit. So, at the time, it was super fun. So, I can't remember what strike it was, but man, it was cool just to be able to be right there with Bungie and check everything out. And just a small snippet of what was to come in the world of Destiny 2. And trust me, there was still a lot. And as you can tell, they even plastered quite a bit of promotional art. The art was really cool, and it was a lot of hype. But, believe it or not, Destiny 2 wasn't the only thing that I wound up checking out. Despite everything and how much hype this game had, and I mean truly had, nothing came close to some of the other games I got to check out. There were a few additional notes too with Destiny 2, including some of the gameplay and stuff that was pretty cool, but you guys know how the gameplay is at this point. So, I got to check out a closed door, behind the scenes look at Uncharted Lost Legacy. It was super cool, super fun, and definitely a great game and worth the experience to say the least. I got to briefly check out a little bit of Star Wars Battlefront 2. So, I didn't get a chance to play a lot of it, but I watched some people play it, and it looked pretty interesting at the time. I know a lot of my friends were definitely hyped for it, and there was a lot of big banners and posters and stations set up to play it. So, they really did bring their A game with the second one. And, honestly, no wonder there was so much hype for it. And you could tell that there was a lot of stations definitely set up for it. So, like I said, I didn't get to play much of it, but from what I saw of it, as well as the customization, it was pretty cool. I still need to play the first and second one. Obviously, I had to show some love to PlayStation for, sending me to E3. If it wasn't for them, I would have never had the experience, and I owe it all to Sony, so thank you. But what was behind this door? Well, let's just say it was related to the little Uncharted Lost Legacy thing. Like I said, I got to actually go in and check out the closed door demo and some of the footage, and it was really cool. But the biggest thing was Marvel Spider-Man. That's right, they showed off the helicopter opening scene for Spider-Man at the time, and Insomniac really brought their A game with it. It was so much fun. But yeah, between the cosplays and the community and everybody having so much fun back then. That magic of E3 and just actually finally get a chance to be there and enjoy what was, at the time, the holy grail of gaming, in my opinion, was a truly magical experience. I never thought I'd ever get a chance to go to E3. Never thought I'd get a chance to go to LA before. And I even showed a little love to Xbox. I personally thought that this promo thing was cool. Personally, I thought it looked like Aaron Hansen for a minute, but it did not. So, I think that's the reason why I took the photo. But regardless, it was so cool. And yes, I checked out a few Xbox One stuff at the time, as well as some Nintendo stuff. They had a really cool booth set up with a bunch of vendors and stuff. And I ended the first day literally playing Mario Kart at E3 in a ball pit. You know, like a responsibly well-adjusted adult. Oh, you thought I was joking. No, this is the photo. Anyhow, we'll be back with more. But yeah, overall, day one was definitely a lot of fun. Day two was especially interesting because, believe it or not, for day two, I really just used the time to soak in all of the craziness, check a bunch of other different vendors, check out all the different banners and posters they had for different games, and just sort of explore the convention center. I really knocked out everything that I wanted to do and check out all on day one. So day two was kind of more of like a, hey, I'm here, relaxing, kind of just soaking it all in kind of day. So I took a lot of photos of like the promo, photos and banners they had for different games and stuff. Try to get a bunch of E3 swag as much as possible. And tried to basically network and make new friends and just enjoy the day. I did wind up checking out, at the time, Lawbreakers, which, let's be honest, as most of you know how that game turned out, but there was a considerable amount of hype at the time, and I had some Lawbreakers swag, and I even got to play the beta for a bit. It was fun, but again, we all know how that died. But regardless, it was cool. Checked out a few MOBAs, checked out a few PC games as well too, and some of the booths. This was one of the ones I checked on. I don't remember too much of it, but I did check it out. So, it was cool. And then I actually wound up ending my second and final day at E3 by checking out Sonic Forces and some Sega stuff. Yep, I saved one of the best ones for last. I gave some love to Sega. I checked out a little bit of Sonic Mania, a little bit of Sonic Forces, and a little bit of other projects that were at the time coming out back in 2017. I had to take the opportunity to get a photo too while waiting in line. So it was a lot of fun, and I managed to even get some cool Sonic posters and a few other things and swag along the way. But yeah, no, the whole experience with Sega was super fun too. So, and as I wandered around outside, I just kind of soaked things in for one more time and just really took in the fact that I was finally there,
But yeah, overall, my time at E3 back in 2017 was absolutely amazing. I had so much fun, and I truly understood what the hype was all about back then. And if it wasn't for all of the various beta tests and system software tests and forums and all this good energy and good karma that I had built over the years, I would have never dreamed that PlayStation, of all people, would have sent my ass to E3. But they did. This was a manifestation, nay, a dream literally come true. And at the time, I was dealing with a lot. I was living in an apartment with one of my oldest relatives. I was taking care of them when, you know, the rest of my biological family just couldn't. They all had different reasons, and, you know, they all had their own lives, so there's no ill will or judgment whatsoever. But I chose to take care of this person for years until they eventually passed away. And when they passed away, that was it for most of my main bloodline biological family. My parents, my mom and dad, died years ago, years ago. And my grandparents died, and even my own stepfather had passed away. And since then, I've also had uncles pass away, aunts pass away, friends who we considered part of the family pass away. Just a lot of people passing away. Death, if you will. So, because of that, you know, I was working in retail at a very particular tech giant at the time. It starts with the letter B, ends with the letter, Y. You probably know what it is. And before I even got the chance to go to E3, I had originally went to a comic convention that I go to every year. So it was kind of cathartic to be entered into a raffle from PlayStation and actually win tickets. So because of Sony and PlayStation, I got to go to E3 in a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I went mostly by myself. So it was one of the first times I took a Greyhound and I left the state by myself. And it was also one of the very few moments in my life that I felt emotionally, physically, and even mentally and spiritually really truly connected to a moment in time, to the world. So, but yeah, the whole trip was fun. So, in fact, on the last day, or rather the first day, right after I got out of the convention, I took the shuttle back to the hotel, unpacked everything, and for the very first time, I went and visited the Santa Monica Beach in California by myself. I went and took some photos, did some photography, and I checked out the pier by myself for the very first time. it was really nice. The weather was not too cold, not too hot. The sunset was coming down, as you can see in the photos. And I decided to wander by the wharf, you know, for the first time. And I wound up getting some really good food and even checking out some of the rides and just sitting on the beach for a little bit. It was really pleasant. I went by the actual boardwalk and just kind of soaked everything in, from the ocean water and the waves to the people just walking on by and just enjoying themselves on the beach, you know? And just to the people riding on some rides nearby, you know, eating some interesting foods, and just that atmosphere, you know, of being somewhere different, being somewhere new for the first time. And I truly think that there is a part of me that, had I had the choice, wishes I could have been, you know, plopped or born in California. You know, maybe I would have had more success as a online creator, you know, had I lived in this state, or had I been born and raised in this state. Maybe I wouldn't have. Who knows? That's kind of the deal with the whole, you know, understanding all the different versions of you that exist out there, and kind of acknowledging the what ifs of life, you know. But I really did take a moment to just enjoy the smell of, like, the sand in the ocean breeze, the kind of mystic air, that sort of just positive environment, and just the glow and the feeling of that warmth, being connected to the world, and, you know, just that energy. And if it wasn't for PlayStation, if it wasn't for my family, if it wasn't for friends, if it wasn't for my coworkers at the time, if it wasn't for all these people, I would have never gone. And of course there's a, you know, a younger me, you know, standing by the pier, so taking some dumb photos. So, but yeah, I was there for the very first time by myself, and I had the biggest smile. So I enjoyed myself, and maybe one day I'll get to explore the world a bit more. I'll get to go to other states. I'll get to go to other countries. I'll get to go to other places. I'll get to explore far grander reaches of the multiverse. Not just on Earth, but worlds beyond worlds. And maybe I'll mean something finally to this world, or to this universe. Maybe I'll find my purpose. Maybe I'll find one day my reasoning to keep going. And maybe one day I won't miss my family as much. Because I miss them a lot. And I don't know if they miss me a lot, but I'm sure they're watching up in heaven, keeping an eye on me and my friends and HUKU and all these people. So anyhow, that about does it for the season finale. Thanks for taking a trip down memory lane with me, and I want to share with you one final photo memory that I took, and I don't know if it will resonate with people or not, but to those out there who are continuing and going and moving forward, regardless if you have family or not, just know that you mean a lot to people in this world, in any reality. And I'm proud of you for making it this far. And I'm sure that others are proud of you too. Hey Dad, it's me. I made it to California all by myself for the first time. I wish you were here to enjoy it with me. I went to E3 finally. First day was an absolute blast. I played a bunch of tech demos and I got some cool swag. I met some new friends and I mingled. It was a lot of fun. So afterward, once I dropped my stuff off at the hotel, I went to the boardwalk in Santa Monica off the pier. I went and got some food. I unwinded for a bit. And I spread some of your ashes into the ocean. And so forth. Anyhow, thanks for traveling with me. I love you. And I miss you a lot. I'm gonna go eat some food and chill at the beach before I head back to the hotel. I miss you. Bye. You know, it's actually a nice day for a walk. And I have actually done quite a lot this entire season. Granted, I mean, yes, it took me nearly almost 2 years to, do a whole season of this show. But this whole Crashbox thing was more or less an experiment I wanted to do, I guess. And at the same time, take advantage of golden opportunities that were presented forth with me. Part of the reason why I got back into making content was because I had so many untold stories of the past and of the present. I had lots of friends who wanted to join in on the fun and shenanigans and the goofiness of it all. And I had so many people and other content creators who wanted to share a personal little piece of themselves in life with people. So, hard to believe this is the finale. Hard to believe that I did it. 13 episodes and, what? Multiple specials. Can hardly believe it. Yeah. 13 episodes and 6 specials. Well, 5 specials and a highlight. But still, 18 episodes total. My God. You know what? Maybe some fresh air and going for a walk. And a little bit of momentum will put my mind at ease. And hopefully, whenever she does decide to come back, if she comes back, that she'll be happy. And, you know, maybe if I ever do see my family again, probably not in this lifetime, but maybe in the next, I'll see them again. And maybe they'll be happy to see me. Who knows? I might as well just go for that walk. Get some fresh air. I think I'll just put on my sandals, since it's actually nice out. Well, let's unplug for a little bit. Because hopefully there's enough love for you and me. This is Crash, signing off for a while. Till then. Stay safe out there across the multiverse. You know that you're loved. No matter if you're alive in this one or alive in another one.
Alright, Crush, so that settles it for season 1. What's next?
I don't know. Maybe I'll just take the time off. maybe when Hadako gets back, her and I will just enjoy ourselves, relax for the month of November. Probably just eat some food, maybe spend time with some of her friends. I'll spend time with some of mine. Maybe try and even get a hold of some friends and family and just honestly just enjoy life, you know? I mean, there's only so much you can do, so but I figured slow down a little bit, you know? Let the universe sort of sort itself out.
All right, sounds about cool thing to do right then and there. So,
Yeah.
so when are we expecting season 2?
Wait, what? So, it seems our tests came back with some pretty interesting data. Yeah, it seems that both him and the missus share a great amount of energy within each other. Do you think it's about time? I think it's about time. You want to give them some time off to, you know, spend with one another and figure it out? Well, I mean, once she gets back from her mission, you know, then yeah, we'll give them some time off. I think a month or two sounds good. Yeah, maybe a month or two, and then come the new year, we put things into full force. That sounds like a plan to me. Do you know if they're both going to be ready? I think they're both going to be ready. Yeah, especially given the fact that they've already merged with each other so well, so that's not what I'm asking. Are you talking about them separately, or are you talking about them as one? I'm referring to if Alexandra is going to be ready. Oh, that, yeah. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But give him the time off for the holidays. Sounds like a plan. Alright, Veronica and Rachel out.